Hi everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever part of the day you're watching this lecture. Welcome to Brainstorming Sociology, where we are up with Lecture 6, Kinship. Here, this kinship as a topic has been subdivided in two lecture parts. First is being done now, and the next will be recorded lecture of another one. Here we are covering the marriage, lineage and descent, contemporary trends that are happening in the kinship system, right? And also, this topic is of immense importance as the questions that has been interlinked has increased. So let's see the syllabus linkage, right? Here the syllabus has been linked with the paper 1. Even paper 2 is there. I had not included the screenshot of it. This system talks of the kinship system in the form of 5 subtopics: family, household, marriage, types and forms of family, lineage and descent, patriarchy and sexual division of labor, contemporary trends. So these topics are very important, right? This topic can't be understood in other parts. It has to be interlinked and thought to be in one frame with different linkages of the other syllabus keywords, right? So here we are not covering the aspect of family, but some parts of family has been covered. Like, you can't think that we are studying the topic marriage in silos, in household in silos, in family as silos. No, you have to think that it has been an interlinked topic. So one of the aspects that has been covered here is in this first part of this lecture, right? So I hope you have already went through the earlier 5 lectures that has been uploaded in this series. There we had talked about the sociological perspectives to think about. We had talked about the modernization, urbanization. We had talked about the middle class. We had talked of sociology of gender. All these topics are extremely important with the present trend of questions that has been asked in UPSC. So let's now see with the interlinkages of this PYQ of this topic. Here in 2020, we can see that how the question is asked: discuss the consequences of across region marriage on kinship system in modern Indian society. So here see, your marriage has been linked with kinship and modern Indian society. We are going to paper 2. The question is: discuss the conceptual issues about lineage and descent in India, give suitable illustration. So this is a direct question of theoretical part, right? But it has to be again linked with India part. So India part with illustration. So you need to be very firm with the examples that is going in and around with it, right? Coming to the 2021 part, the question is: discuss the changing nature of kinship patterns in kinship relations in the contemporary world. So again, the changing, this is the contemporary part that has been asked. Again, paper 2, the question linkages with urban settlements in India tend to replicate its rural caste kinship imprints. Discuss the main reasons, right? So here again, interlinkage with caste has been done with kinship. Urban settlement has been again impacted with this question. Coming to the 2023, define the concepts of descent and alliance, differentiate between North Indian and South Indian kinship systems with examples. So here you need to be very familiar with the differences that is prominent according to the Iravati Karve or any other thinker that you can link with this, or the positive or the negative trends that are seen in these kinship systems, right? So coming to the 2024 aspect, marriage as an institution has undergone a radical transformation from ritual to commercial in its outlook. Explain the factors behind this change. So whatever the conspicuous consumption pattern, whatever the big fat wedding concepts and everything that you can think as a whole, whatever is going on in the society, the present online concepts that are going in, everything, you need to interlink the static with the contemporary examples and portray the examiner that you have a broad understanding of sociology, not just to the thinker's aspect or any one dimension, right? Coming to 2025, again the question has been interlinked with the LGBTQ community, how same-sex marriages are responsible for population dynamics in India. So again, topic linked with population dynamics. 2025, another question was that given account of the recent trends of marriage in the Indian context, how are these different from traditional practices? So this is a question of paper 2, where the question has been interlinked with the traditional and the contemporary aspect. So how are you seeing these questions? You can see these questions in the format that how things have evolved from traditional to contemporary, how kinship with urbanization, kinship with caste, kinship with marriage, kinship with urban settlements, and everything. So you need to think the topic as a broad perspective. For that, we are trying to show you the interlinkages. So finding the interlinkages is very important. Here we can interlink kinship with family, kinship contemporary changes, marriage and kinship and gender, kinship network, kinship evolution, marriage rules, alliance, descent, kinship plus urbanization. So this is the overall framework to think that how the questions are being asked. So again, understanding the importance of this topic comes under PYQ's analyzation, interlinking with sociological point development, thinking in the pattern that how these questions to be analyzed so that next year questions can be thought a way behind or in a way forward, that how the topic has evolved and how I need to prepare for it, right? So let's go with the static links of this topic. In this static link, you will find that family aspect has also been covered in some part. You need to just go through it so that we are ready for the next lecture, right? So just understand systems of kinship. This is a screenshot being attached from that topic, and this is easily available on Brainstorming Sociology's PDFs and everything, which you will get in the Telegram link earlier told about. So be free to reach the channel and find the PDFs and everything. So when I'm talking about G.P. Murdoch, how he has referred to the family, you can go through it. You can talk of the different perspectives like functional perspective, how procreation and socialization has been linked, how gratification of emotional sexual needs of individual through family individually is connected to a wider kinship, wider society, non-essential things, how it is linked, how Talcott Parson thinks of the essential features to essential features no other social institutions can replace of the family, primary socialization of children and adjustment of adult personality. This is very important aspect that has always been linked with Talcott Parsons, right? So you need to show this formats of understanding of the thinkers with interlinkages with the contemporary part. Marxist perspective, how it will be always be linked with the capitalism aspect. Angels, Kathleen Gu, Marx, with the advent of private property, domestication and exploitation of women in the families, unpaid labor concept, how Vogel and Bell thinks, how Edmund Leach talks of runaway world, how electric circuit theory, since now domestic households are isolated. So all these concepts, Margaret Benston and economic unit, the nuclear family is variable stabilizing force in the capitalist society. So how can you link? So just don't link yourself with the classical thinkers, go beyond that and reach out to other thinkers where you can get surely edges. Because don't you think that examiner is also bored of thinking and talking of the same type of papers that he is checking or she is checking? So you need to show different dimensions. You need to show the different aspects of this, right? Coming to the next thinker, that how David Cooper thinks of 1972 pronounces the death of the family. He too maintains a child is destroyed by the family since he is primarily taught how to submit to the society for the sake of survival. So these are the different aspects you can link with the society's angle. Feminist perspective, that family is patriarchal and is the cause of oppression, exploitation, discrimination against women, domestic violence, incest, marital rapes, etc. How capitalists are benefiting from this unpaid labor of women. How family assign women reproductive role and men productive roles, socializes children in gendered roles and behavior. And we are talking about the types and forms of family which has overly evolved in this contemporary part. You can also link with this aspect as a types and forms of kinship that has come out, right? You can't talk about in silos with marriage and talk in silos with the kinship. You need to have a broader framework where you can use the concepts. Horizontal deployment can be done, right? So when we are talking about it, it's a conjugal or companionate, how double income, no kids, how nuclear, compound children with polygamous, linearly extended, laterally extended, extended, joint, also descent, Meghalaya, matrilineal, residence, authority, patriarchy, matriarchy, filiocentric, name as patronymic and metronymic, conjugal and consanguinal. So all these aspects you need to cover in the whole format. So go through these keywords. This static part has been included to showcase you that how these keyword usage is important in answer, to differentiate for the general studies answer and a sociology answer, because there is also a topic in the paper 1 where you talk of the society as a subject, but when you're talking society as a perspective from a sociologist student, from a sociology optional paper, you need to interlink very much keywords in it to showcase the thinker, to showcase the interlinkages to the examiner, right? And when we are talking about the patriarchy and sexual division of labor, how household production with private and public space, workspace, or the place is different, how individual aspect is there, how collective aspect is there, how patriarchal is exclusionary and segregationist. So you need to showcase these, right? Contemporary trends, if I talk about, we talk about that there are three main types: extended families, reconstituted families, single personhood, single parenthood. How the Rappaports are talking about the conceptualizing family diversity. Here I have just showcased this as a PDF format or a screenshot, but rest we have discussed in this next slides, where we are talking about the thinker's POV as a different question, right? So coming with this, again explaining the increasing family diversity, marriage and divorce, feminism and gender roles, postmodernism and individualization, social policy, economic factors, trends in family diversity, like how new rights, how post and late modernism, feminism has been included, how do families varies life course, generation, ethnicity, class, sexuality, was it ever the norm or just a myth, how the nuclear concept has evolved, and everything. You can just go through it once, right? And when we are talking about all the contemporary trends that has happened, that has a nuclearization of family due to industrialization, increasing number of households, reconstituted families, dual career, one parent households, cohabitation, same sex families, voluntary childless couples are increasing common these days. Rappaport talks about it. Cohabitation is an intimate relationship that includes a common living place and which exists without the benefit of legal, cultural or religious sanction. How the concepts have evolved over the years, right? You need to showcase that to examiner. Pet parents with no children, marriage losing appeal, diversity in family, rising divorces, Giddens forever love, plastic love concept. Frederick Lepley uses the term unstable for working class family. So contemporary trends in India also can be talked of in a different format, like marriage is still important, it's a major event in life. We are talking about Sola Sanskaras, we are talking about the caste active technology reinforcing, we are talking about the class becoming important, urban areas, rise of live-in relationships, cohabitations, rise of divorce rates, joint family has sentimental values, girls' choice is increasingly getting considered, males seen as major important breadwinner, role of elderly getting confined to only rituals, rise of philiocentric approach, again from the parents are thinking from the children's perspective, how things are happened. So all these are important keywords that you can surely include, right? We are talking about the live-in relationships. So live-in relationships has been again asked in different formats in the questions in the contemporary trends. So just go through it, like confluent love, plastic love, risk society, how will you link with the homosexual couples, how are you going to link with the industrialization concept, urbanization concept. Just go through it once so that you are aware of the keywords that needs to be used. Issues with regards to live-in marriages, social acceptance, children born out of marriage are socially ridiculed, they are not accepted here, right? Live-in couples are not allowed to adopt children, pet parents, new trend, rape in live-ins needs to be addressed. All these concepts, again with the apart from this, marital rape is also a dominant concept that has been asked over the that has always been in debate, right? So all these you just showcase as points that you need. See, you are going to get just one single question or two questions at a time in a paper, so you need to have an overall framework in the format of two papers just ready, so that whenever a question linked to this topic is coming, you can have the all just what you know, you can just show the examiner, yes, I am aware about the keywords, I am aware about the contemporary trends, I will surely execute in the well format which you are requiring, right? Just show it. You just need to have that evolved pattern of showing the examiner. Again, when we are talking about the lineage and descent in India, it is a topic from the paper 2, where we are talking about the Kula, where we are talking about the go through exogamy, we are talking about the descent, we are talking about Vansh, unilineal, double or bilineal, ambilineal, parallel, all the cross cousin concepts. You can show about the performing rituals, marriage, death, all that happens in a descent group, defines identity of an individual, Sapint concept, about the authority concept of the eldest male, inheritance or economic rights linked with that, patriarchy and unpaid labor, which has been talked of by Uma Chakravarti. So all these are the important keywords. Gilleen and Gilleen talks about the marriage as a socially approved way of establishing family as procreation, right? Hindu marriage is a religious duty, not a contract. Hindu marriage is sacrament and indissoluble bond. K.M. Kapadia has talked about it, that marriage and family in India has given his explanation in support of the view that Hindu marriage is sacrament. How the Kanyadan concept, how the panigraha, how all these in marriage is a social duty, prativratya, how only women are burdened with all the rituals and everything, grihastha ashram concept. Whenever you're talking about all these terms, no, examiner gets to know that yes, we are aware about it, that the student has much of the knowledge in and around the topics, right? He has not just studied it and marked up and just came and written. So have this holistic view, have the concept of same-sex marriages, arguments in favor and against. Just go through it once, how necessitation of procreation is linked to it, how heterosexual, which are non-heterosexual, how new forms of marriage is getting linked with it, how arguments from and both sides you can talk of this way, right? So coming with the static part, again with the little part of the descent, where we just talked about right now also, that in descent unilineal, bilineal, parallel, cross, everything comes in it. You just need to have a overall awareness of the keywords. So why in news, if we see this kinship topic as a whole, we see this that recognition of different forms of kinship has evolved. We talk of IVF, egg freezing art, that is the artificial reproductive technologies that has evolved over the years. Surrogacy framework in India has evolved. How transnational kinship via WhatsApp or video calls or role of technology has evolved. How daughters performing parents' last rites, changing descent rules, because it has always been linked with the son concept, and how kul concept, how gotra concept, and how everything that has a linkage with that new trend, right? So you just need to showcase the examiner that whatever changes has happened in the contemporary format. Intercaste marriages you can talk of. You're seeing in the news nowadays single parent households by choice, rising age at marriage in India. International scenarios like Japan's aging population, Nordic countries, they are talking about the companionship and everything. Women's inheritance rights, online matrimonial, dating platforms. So do you think that these topics will ever grow old and questions will not be asked by UPSC or any other exam, right? So you just need to showcase that this has been a evolving topic. Many things will happen in this institution in the coming future. So you need to always be aware about the topic, right? So now let's go ahead and have the thinker's POV. Your thinker's POV comes to much importance to produce evidence about the part you are knowing, so that examiner also gets evidences that yes, he has or she has got the knowledge in and around the things with the evidences of the statics knowledge or the thinkers he has also studied to quote that, right? Just don't quote thinkers randomly. Have a probable argument, support it with the thinker that you know, right? So coming with the role of women changed according to industrialization, instrumental from the expressive role. So this was the concept of Talcott-Parsons. Kinship pattern, how evolved from the joint to nuclear. How Talcott-Parsons also talks about the two basic formations of the family, or how major utilizations of this institution has happened. That also we will cover in the next lecture, where we will talk about the family aspect. We are not going deep dive into family aspect here in this lecture. We will talk about it in the next lecture. We are talking about Rappaperts. Rappaperts has always shown the diversity of modern times in family. Again, this concept is not to be just thought of as a family. You can show it with the evolving kinship pattern. Single parents families, dual career families, cohabiting couples, DINK, double income, no kids, same-sex couples, transnational families. Coming with Ulrich Beck. Ulrich Beck has always been associated with the risk society. Individualization of the focus is on individualization of society, resulting to risk consciousness. Less family bondage nowadays growing. So we are seeing that earlier we used to call that whatever things were happening, we all are a family and everything. But now internet culture and everything has shown that less family bondage. Anthony Giddens, when we are talking about plastic love concept, how easily things are getting broken off, easy divorce is one of the example. When Iravati Karve, when we talk of the regional classification of India on the basis of kinship. So see, this is not the lecture where I'm going to cover the basics. Just I'm trying to showcase that how in mains, whenever you are writing the answers, you can show the diverse implication of the topic. You can show the diverse interlinkages of the contemporary things. So just to be more aware of whatever has gone off, whatever you have studied, just to compile it in the form of 1 or 2 lectures or 1 or 2 PDF format pages, so that you are just ready to go and throw the keywords right as such, whatever is linked with the topic. So in the north what happens, in the east what happens, in the south what happens, in the west what happens. So basically Iravati Karve has always shown the way the north and south has differed in its opinions of kinship system. There is a taboo. There is no village exogamy. In the south, we talk of the cross cousin parallel marriages. We are talking about the village exogamy here. Matrilineal or inheritances rights are linked with the eastern part. No women inheritance rights are linked with the patriarchal concept of the western side. So this is just an overview. Go more deep dive about the topic if you need to learn more about what Iravati Karve actually talks of. Have a theoretical understanding, right? But this is just to show the interlinkage of the thinker with the topic. Coming to we are coming to Pauline Kolinda, right? Pauline Kolinda has talked of the fictive kinship, has talked of the online kinship via social media. So fictive kinship has always been more aware about as the term we call nowadays as the friendship systems that has evolved in the society, because friendships have also been seen as the relationships that has admired, that has expanded over the years. Online kinship via social media and everything that has happened. M.N. Srinivas, how he has linked with the migration and urbanization reshaping the kinship. Levi Strauss, how intercaste marriage creating new alliances, right? So whenever we are talking about that intercaste marriages and the alliance system, you can quote Levi Strauss. What is the difference? This was the major aspect of the thinker that I need to showcase. You can always interlink more thinkers and show. These are some of the prominent ones which you definitely need to know linked with this topic. Coming to the differences about the lineage, descent and kinship, this is a very prominent mistaken terms that are used by students. We need to be aware that ancestral, wherever it is traceable, it is linked with the lineage part, right? Whenever can't trace ancestral origin, mythological concept is linked, that is the descent part. And kinship is a very broader concept which involves everything, and it's an emerging concept. Coming to the marriage part now. That was broadly more about the lineage and descent. Coming to the marriage part. In marriage and religion, when we link off, we are talking about the Hindu system, where sacredness, how different from Western companionship we term in Hindu marriage act and everything in Hindu, how the sacredness has evolved, how dharma is linked to it, how it is part of sola sanskaras, how patriarchal thought of continuation of progeny has been linked with the concept of institution of marriage, how grihastha ashram is one of the ashrams of the age of one's life, how Dvija system of Brahmanas, no divorce to be linked with, and how non-Dvija system with the lower caste linkage is there. In Muslims, we talk of it as a contractual part, as a part of Sharia law. We talk of triple talaq linked with men's rights. Though there has been evolving things in and around the laws, but still you can link that how triple talaq has been linked, right? How Christianity is seen as sacredness plus companionship in the impact of the Western society. So Christianity has evolved with the sacredness plus companionship. Additional info, if I talk about the marriage system, we can talk of the early marriage system in India existed for the age concept, right? Concept of chastity was linked with the marriage system. Tribals have been seen as the egalitarian rights over the marriage in case of the marriage system. The women always had the right to showcase in the form of, you can call it as swayamvar, or in the form of egalitarian rights, where the women used to choose her husbands in the form of earlier marriage, like live-in concept which has been showcased now in the society. It has always existed in the tribal part, but not in the obviously not in the keywords terms like live-in, but they had got their rights. They have always followed a egalitarian system. So coming to the features of the marriage in the North India and South India differences, coming to Gotra exogamy, village endogamy, hypergamy. Here Sapint concept is linked in the North India, where no marriage till 7 generations of the father side and 5 generations of the mother side. No inheritance rights to women have been given here in North part. Though things have evolved, but if we go with the true concept of the North India and South India, it is still not there. Cross cousin marriage, we have always seen that with the southern side, southern part of India. Matrilineal concept, again, yes, definitely, where the mother's brother has the first opportunity to marry the girl from that family, right? So a girl of mother has always been linked with the mama, or the concept where she is getting married to the mama. So here in inheritance rights to women has also been given weightage. Coming to the role of occupation and technology in marriage, in the contemporary times, we have seen that individual compatibility more important, because nowadays professional integration has been one of the key aspects where People are marrying, like IT sector people are marrying the IT sector, teachers are marrying the teachers. We have seen that lawyers are marrying the lawyers. Cause why? This has shown that occupational efficacy is one of the important things to be seen for the compatibility, right? Meta marriages, how it has evolved, how online marriages has happened, how WhatsApp invitation, etc. So link with hyper reality, link with whatever trends of postmodernism has happened. Online marriages and online systems has evolved over the times of the COVID, right? People had ordered food and everything, and people were watching the marriages over online systems. So this has evolved. These are the newer systems that has seen as a country or as a whole, as a world, in the parts of the sociology we had never thought of it earlier, right? So marriage as an institution has evolved over the years. So on basis of concept of caste, if we see, we are seeing it in the form of Anulom Viva, we are seeing it in the form of Pratilom Viva. In the Anulom Viva, we are talking the higher caste men plus lower caste women, and opposite way it has for the Pratilom Viva. Dowry system, again, it has been a term that has been linked with as a Stridhan. M.N. Srinivas calls it in a different format. Dowry is the new sati, right? So whenever you are getting questions in and around, again, this topic, you can quote one of the aspects being of the dowry, where new sati has been termed by M.N. Srinivas. How widow remarriage has been a taboo and has not been a taboo in two types of society. In society, all over the society, when we talk, it is a taboo. When we are talking about the no taboo, it's in tribals and in the Muslims. So factors impacting marriage apart from the above things. Technology has always impacted. Legal or constitutional changes that has impacted. Modernization or westernization has impacted. Inclusion of LGBTQ debates has been the new trend or the new factor that has affected marriage, right? So whenever we are talking about the evolution of this topic, or how will you write it as a way forward, or how can you critique this topic, you can use these keywords like states over interference. You can write question of existence of this institution. You can talk of the structural changes that can be brought about. You can talk of the debates of the marital rapes going in and around this institution. You can talk of the increase in terminologies, sologamy, levirate, sororate, lavender marriages, everything. So Google these terms. If you're not aware about these terms, Google these terms, that what are these terms in different aspects talk over. We are talking about the UCC, that demand for same law is required in this institution also or not. So with this, I think we have come to the end of this overall topic. We are not going into much details of the topic. I'm just trying to showcase the interlinkages, that how can you use these keywords and show the examiner that how you know in and around this topic firmly, right? I know you have read lots and lots in and around this topic for books and from many other sources, but just have this 1 to 2 page notes where you are aware about the things. So probable topics and interlinkages in coming years, if we talk of, we can talk of in the form of technology and kinship, where AI companionship has nowadays increased. So how it is challenging the traditional kinship system, right? How discuss the kinship in the age of individualization, how it has evolved, how marriage is a choice. Has marriage shifted from an institution to a relationship? How migration impacts has been seen. NRI families increased remote care. How women in kinship, like daughters changing roles, performing the last rites of the parents, getting the inheritance rights, ART and classical theories of descent under question. Like whatever the things of we have seen in the evolving artificial reproductive technologies and with the surrogacy and everything, whatever you think of as a ART, how this are questioning the classical theories of descent. So do you think that there is interlinkage of the question? So do you think that how these has been like impacted with this, right? So digital choices, how much reliable, matrimonial apps, how much they are reliable, increasing divorce and separation, individualization as a concept has emerged with it. Gender and marriage, when we are talking about the women retaining surnames after marriages, honor killings nowadays, a very bigger concept, right? Relationship related murders and intimate partner violence that we have seen as a common trend nowadays in Indian society. I don't like particularly we can talk of the Indian society as example in this concept. So just quote examples in and around with the arguments in favor, arguments against, and just showcase the examiner. Parents opposing partner choices, marriage and kinship, how it has seen that how parents are only deciding the child's future, or child has the right still to decide about his or her future. So what is it? Do you see that marriage as an institution has evolved in the Hindu system and everywhere, not only in Hindu system, everywhere. So just interlink these thinking points and develop in and around your arguments. Just try to showcase that how these contemporary keywords, how these contemporary trends with whatever things are happening, Like all these are as examples you can use for sure. So interlink can show the examiner with the thinker's POV and everything. I have covered it holistically, and you can surely go to the Brainstorming Sociology's Telegram channel to showcase that yes, whatever we have studied, this is also existing in PDFs over there. This is the link for this is a QR code, right, for the Brainstorming Sociology's Telegram channel. If you have not yet joined, please join this channel. You will surely find insightful things related to the sociology, contemporary trends, related to the concepts, related to the whatever questions that has been asked in the past years. Surely you will have more broader holistic understanding in and around. So it was a very good, I think, lecture in and around this topic. I'll see you in the next part of this topic, which has been left with the topic, I think, family and the other patriarchy kind of thing that has been linked with this topic. So just go through with this holistically so that you are aware more in the next topic, right? So I think you love this lecture. I think that you have a broader understanding, more developed in and around this topic. So just have a more overview in and around it for the next lecture. I am hoping that I get a good feedback in and around it so that I can also develop more about this topic. Thank you. Thank you so much for patiently hearing me out.